Unmute myself here. Just didn't want the music to come through. What's going on? I don't know. This is Friday AIs, I guess. I guess that's what we're gonna call this little event here. I don't know. I haven't made any content this week, so I figured I'd just go live and just like kind of hang out with everybody. It's been a really long, long day. I'll just I'm ready for today to end, really. So I just figured I'd just hit the live button and just see what everybody's doing up here. Beep, BPY top to you, good sir. Spell check. I need to spell check. What didn't I spell right here? Well, how's everybody doing? I see that there's quite a few people in here. We got Kyle Rosa, Travelers Travels, Patrick Murphy, Red Hawk, Max, or General Voltage, or Dad, as we call him. The veteran miner, Hawk, Crypto, Automatic Beats. What's going on, everybody? Oh, we got Crypto Perks, Crypto Shape. What's going on, man? How you been? Oh, Mr. Kaiser, how you doing? Oh, and DJ Mines. The weird thing is like DJ is the one who like really like started like going in on this like AI buzzword, right? Like with render and everything. I'm just really surprised he hasn't even got into the AI at all. You know what I mean? I'm really really surprised about that. So he was the one that was kind of telling us all early on, as far as like I was like when we were talking, like when he came on the trading channel that one time, he was talking about like render, like all these like projects that are like AI, using the buzzword, you know what I mean? That's kind of surprised he hasn't got into it. I buy the AI coins, yeah. Crypto Perks is he just mentioned the GPU Utopia. I don't everybody else, this is on them. There's this other thing called GPU Utopia. Like I would go to my Windows VM if I was gonna go visit this web page. I I don't think GPU Utopia is for me, at least right now, until I learn more about it. I'm not gonna say anything about their project or their company, but I don't think it's a good idea or safe to use it at this point. It is a Chrome extension that uses the compute of your computer that way, right? So you just download the extension and it uses the resources that way. I don't know a lot about it. I just know that it's like Chrome based, but I do know that they also did add a command line like actual worker that you can use too. So I know they started with the Chrome extension. I'm not super familiar with it. I'll have to look into that one a little bit more. It pays right, but the problem is with the Bitcoin though, is I thought like you couldn't you had to use this weird wallet, right? With the GP Utopia, right? It wasn't like I couldn't like use my Zelcore and like send it to myself. I had to use this special Bitcoin wallet that is approved by them. To me, red flag, right? Why do I have to use this specific Bitcoin wallet? Why can't I use my Zelcore or my Ledger or any other, you know, a wallet that accepts Bitcoin? So to me, that seems off. That I have to use a very specific wallet. That was my first red flag. So I haven't dove into a whole lot. Um, Maybe I'll spec out a computer that I don't care if gets like a Trojan or something. I'm super skeptical about GP Utopia. Maybe I need to reach out to those guys and talk to them because I just don't know enough about it. There's just a few red flags to me that doesn't make me just want to instantly leap in. I need to spend more time and kind of research about it a little bit more. Step one, make sure MetaMask is open. Step two, forget about step one. Oh, Patrick Murphy, man, with the trolls. I love it. Love it. And then look, Max says he's looks like he was visiting Mr. Geek of all trades here. He's coming back from Goat's place, he says. That's cool. Hopefully you guys got a beer to get well, actually, yeah, they don't he doesn't drink, so maybe you guys, hung out and got a bite to eat or something. So, I did get approved for TensorDoc. So I am currently on their platform right now, and it was different. So far, I don't believe my machine's being like no one's picked it up yet. Um, I'll show you guys here in a few minutes about TensorDoc though. So another platform. If you look up like what was that I googled yesterday, like GPU, like rent your own GPUs or something. I just googled that, and the two top picks that came out for that was Vast and TensorDoc. Those were the top two companies that came up. So I just got in with those guys. So we'll have to see. I'll have to do a 30-day like review about them. Because I was gonna throw some more rigs on it, but now I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean? My vast stuff is going so well, and I got like a good majority of my rigs like being verified. So it's like, do I really, really want to risk like losing my verification status to go test a company that I don't have any experience with? You know what I mean? When I'm already making, you know what I mean, good money. So yeah, not too sure about that. But if you guys got questions about, Vast or like, rigs and stuff like that, AI rigs, that's kind of why I'm here today. Figured I get questions all the time, man. I've People have found me on Facebook and like said I've gotten like 3 or 4 people messaging me on Facebook Messenger, which I don't use that. So it's just weird to go on my Facebook and it's like I have to download another program to get Messenger. So it's there's a lot of questions about it. So if you guys got questions, today's the day. Just ask away. Things. What are your thought about building dense rigs versus smaller rigs? Debating on epic build versus smaller Xeons. Well, it's gonna. I mean, this is completely different than mining. So this is Matt W's question. Hey, what's going on, geek? I see you and just popped in here. So this is his question, and it depends, right? Because different clients are gonna rent different machines. This isn't like mining where it's like, okay, I have this 3090 here, and this is what this 3090 is gonna make me every day, no matter what. That's not the case in this actual scenario, right? As well as there's people have different workloads, right? And those workloads favor different GPUs. So personally, so here's the issue with bigger rigs. One, they're going to cost you a lot more money. Like, let's say you have a 4 card 4090 rig, right? So the 4090s alone are going to cost you like $1,600 each plus tax. So that's what, like $1,800. So you're talking 36, $7,200 in graphics cards. Plus, you're going to have to buy at least a second gen or third gen. It has to be minimum second gen Epic if you want the Gen 4 lanes. That's another $1,200 for the motherboard, CPU, RAM, NVMe. So I mean, you're in about $10,000. Now the problem with that is though is if any part of that rig has a problem, right? You lose all 4 of the graphics cards, right? If there's an issue with that machine at all, they're all not making money versus me making smaller, more individual machines. If 3 are working perfectly, and then I got maybe 1 rig over here that maybe the GPU needs like a repaste or whatever, right? It's having a problem. Maybe I just need to reinstall VAS, who knows? At least those 3 other GPUs are still making me money versus, all 4 not making me money, right? I'll have 1 go down versus I'll have 3 that are still stood up. So, and I do know that the stable diffusion, the large language models, they only allow for 1 GPU to be used at one time. So, do I know that that's mostly what people are renting for? I'm gonna say I don't know, but I know that's where the good money's at, is stable diffusion. So, right now I have a guy on my verified 3090, and that rig's making me like 428 a day, so off of 1 GPU. So, I'm liking it right now. I like the single. I understand that there may be more rigs to manage, but at the same time, it's if I have 1 go down, at least that's only 1 GPU going down versus like 4 or 8, right? Because if you have a problem, then all 8 aren't making money or however many you wanna put in. So I prefer my smaller rigs personally. And then Michael Cassidy has a question here. What do I do? If a client has on-demand instance stored on my vast machines but hasn't used it in 2 weeks. Do you mean I'm assuming you mean like the purple where it says it's still stored and it's not being used? That means they're still technically on your system. So that means they're still technically there. So I would just leave it alone. Because they're still storing information. They paid for the storage. Um, Now that doesn't mean that because they have that storage part, that doesn't mean that the whole other part of the machine isn't rentable. Maybe they're only renting a certain amount of storage on there just to keep that whatever they want to keep there. I've had more than one on-demand instance on a machine. I've had 3. So it is possible to have more than one. I do know that. And S Chang, I sort of S like there S Chang has kind of the same question, like why don't we use one or more GPUs? I kind of answered that earlier a little bit, but it's like I just it depends on the workload. It depends what customers you're going after. There is no I don't want to say right or wrong answer, but I'm just telling you my approach and it's working good for me, so I'm going to stick with it. I'm gonna stick with the 1 GPU rigs. I have 1 dual rig right now, and so far, it's been the least rented out of all of the rigs. Thanks for the $1.99 super chat, Hawk. Is it me, or does King look like Obi-Wan Kenobi? I don't have my gel or anything in my hair like I usually, like, put on when I go live. I literally I just came home, had my Red Bull, sitting here hanging out. You know what I mean? But hey, I will take that compliment though, because hey, Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's a badass. All right, I'll take that compliment. Tank Abbott from UFC. Oh man. All right, we got to read Brian Hollywood's little message here. King, you seem to be Team Green these days. I just got 8 Radeon 7s and a 6800 XT. Are we on an alternate universe? Right now, we kind of are, right? Because I mean, now I'm assuming you got the Radeon 7s because you're trying to mine Dynex because they they're killer on Dynex. It's kind of what everybody's buying them for. But see, we're doing two different things here. You're still mining. Well, I'm mining as well. I'm mining to my Radiant pool with my AMD cards. So I am still crypto mining, but as far as like interest, like new things that are in crypto mining, I mean, I don't know. I find this AI stuff to be much more interesting. And I mean, is from a this isn't financial advice, but from a profitability standpoint, the AI stuff crushes mining unless you're buying one of those new Magic China boxes, the Caspa miners, you know what I mean, that are going to make you thousands of dollars a day. Besides that, though, most crypto mining isn't making you great money right now unless you have free power. Or Crypto Shape asks, can I run Vast AI on servers that are in my rack and just add GPUs to them? Not being utilized hardware wise. Most of them are dual E5 2667s with like 128 megabytes of RAM or 128 gigs. I'm pretty sure he meant gigs. Um, and the answer is going to be yes, but it's also crypto shape. I don't know what the lane configurations are on that. I don't know if do they have was it Gen 3 then? You might be able to have Gen 3. Um, yeah, I know. I figured you meant gigs, but it's okay. I know what you meant. Um, uh, I don't. You'll have to look at the PCIe configuration for the board that you're going to put them on. But in theory, yes, you could. Being DDR3 and being older generations, you may not be able to charge as much. But hey, I mean, I've seen mining rigs on there, and I mean, they. Most of them aren't rented. I've seen a couple rented. It's usually they don't get picked up, but I mean, I've seen i3s on there, i5s. I've seen all kinds of weird CPUs on there, so I mean, anything's possible. So yeah, I would give it a try. I mean, the worst that can happen is that it doesn't get rented. You know what I mean? So, if you are gonna do servers and do like Proxmox, you will have to do PCIe pass through, which I'm not familiar with, but I do need to learn. I know Mr. General Voltage, or Dad as we call him. I'm still waiting for his tutorial on how to get the PCIe pass through to work. So more good content for Max to make right there. Um, and then we have a $10 super chat from Matt W. Appreciate your response, man. Love all your vast content. How you feel about secondhand 3090s versus the 4090s? Oh man, dude. The secondhand 3090s, dude, I've been like isolated. I know Hawk got some good deals too. To me, if you can get a really good deal, like $500 or less, which I'm not gonna lie, you're gonna have to undercut people. Like there's a guy on OfferUp last night I was messaging. He's like, I want like $800 for this like 3090. I'm like, bro, check this out. I'll give you 400 cash. I'll come see you tomorrow. He's like, oh, you're insane. I'm like, okay, well, you've been on here for 3 weeks trying to sell this card and you haven't sold it yet. So that's all right. If you don't sell it, offer still stands. Give me a message and I'll buy the card off you. And that's usually how it works. You know what I mean? Because usually these guys will sit there and they'll just hold the cards for weeks. You know what I mean? 2, 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden you get this some random message from OfferUp. Oh man, hey, is that offer still stand? I'll take the $400. You know why? Because they haven't sold it yet. So desperation is what you guys, will be your card that you're gonna play. Um, Dear Philip says, Philip, is it Burley? I don't want to mispronounce your name. I'm sorry if I did. I'm seeing on my first AI. Any tips? I've been watching your video and I've noticed some different pop-ups. Is that normal or bad sign? So I haven't done another video yet because that was like my first video. Like I'm not gonna lie, dude. That was me just like figuring it out. And to shoot that video, I had to screw up at least 5 times. That's, like, how long it took me to shoot that video because there was, like, all these times I was screwing up until I eventually got the video together. I use Ubuntu server. Now, Hawk did have a problem last night with it. I haven't had any problems with Ubuntu server, and it's always worked good for me, but you can go with desktop. I just use Ubuntu server, and I just skip all o over that stuff. I don't, if you want a great guide, I do offer my members a full Vast AI guide, my refined guide that I've refined over the last few weeks. And it's really tuned down. I can get a Vast rig up in under 10 minutes with it. So, um, and then Peak of all trades asks mining king some servers like the R730 have a feature when fans spin up and stay up at 60% when a GPU is inserted on the board as a heads up. Oh, oh, you're saying they're Delta fans. Yeah. Oh, like the 730 you sent me? Yeah, that thing does get quite loud. So, if you guys do have 1 and 2 or 4U servers in there, yeah, it will get pretty loud. But at least you know everything's staying nice and cool though. See, you gotta think about it that way. And then Bart Sibrels asked me, "Have you stopped crypto mining?" I am mining to my Radiant pool. I have about 40 GPUs mining to my Radiant pool, my own cards. I also have a iPolo Mini Classic that I've had on for like, I don't know, but I think I've had that thing on for like a year and a half, and it's just been on ETC, just mining away. Um, Besides that, I don't have any other crypto rigs. I sold my L7. I sold my S19. I still have some GPUs for sale. I'm selling my 3070 Ti's. I have 2 dozen 1660 Supers for sale. Um, what I'm doing is I'm kind of like consolidating and like kind of spreading out my portfolio, if you want to like look at it that way, right? I was like all in GPU mining, and then I got a couple of ASICs, and I have mixed feelings about ASICs. You know what I mean? It's you always think it's the best time to buy an ASIC, and then they get cheaper, and I just don't know if the magic China boxes are for me. I've had 2. I didn't really lose anything on them. I haven't made anything off them yet, though. I think I'm, like, break even right now on both my big boy ASICs. So, um, here Mr. Hollywood says, "I got 2 3090s for 500 offers accepted on a marketplace. Deals out there, keep hunting." Yeah. Yeah, dude, the 3090s, man, they've been going pretty good, and they have the 24 gigs of VRAM. Now, I do realize they have less compute, but I mean, they're charging between 20 to 30 cents per 3090, right? Now, the reason I'm not charging 30 cents is I don't have an NVMe in this particular rig. I just have a regular SATA SSD. But I mean, the thing is making like $4 and like 28 cents a day. It's ridiculous. Like, I want you to show me where a GPU rig is making even like a dollar, right? It's it's gonna be so hard to find right now to see that, you know what I mean? And it's I just right now to me, as far as from a risk tolerance, I think the AI stuff is less risky. It's at least for me in my perspective, you know what I mean? If you get used GPUs for a good price and if you have spared motherboards or spare computers or servers or any of that stuff, you can repurpose it. You don't have to go out and buy a brand new Epic. Just start with 1 GPU and just make a little VAS rig, get accustomed to it. Get figure out how things work. You don't have to do this full leap and go buy, like, 2 4090s and, build a rig that costs, like, 5 grand. Let's see here, Mr. Voltage asks, "I am home and about to eat, I'm figuring you picked up some pizza, probably that place that you guys are always talking about, I'm assuming, maybe?" And then, Philip Burley asks, "Where can I sign up?" You should just be able to click on the membership. There should be like a join membership somewhere. If you open up another window and go to YouTube, I have a membership section. You should just be able to join right there. Once you do join, either hit me up in Discord or in an email, and um, and I'll verify that you're a member, and then I'll update the access to the Google Doc so you can visually see the AI guide. So your crypto shape says sold half my farm to diversify, holding out the other half to the bull run, looking for more passive income investments with the climate agenda powers going to push home mining out. Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way, at least for like Bitcoin, right? Like S19s and and all that stuff. I just don't think that home people, I think even guys who only have 1 container are gonna be hard pressed to make good money, because you realize that when the halvening happens, that means that's reduced yields. It's You're gonna feel it in this next bull run. I think Bitcoin has moved to, VC funding as far as mining goes. I mean, if you wanna make 2, $3 a day, I mean, I guess, I just don't know if it's worth it at that point. I don't know. You spend thousands of dollars on this one machine. It only mines Bitcoin, but yet the problem is though is the hash rate and the difficulty consistently go up. So that means that you're always going to get less and less and less, right? They're always going to make more efficient machines. And a couple years from now, you're going to have to sell your machine, cycle out, get a newer machine, and it's just like a rinse and repeat cycle, sort of. Oh, Chipotle. Oh man. Well, I know you guys are always talking about that pizza place, Max. I like Chipotle. It's great. It's good food, man. It's way better eating than a lot of the other chains and stuff out there. I do like Chipotle. It's good stuff. Let's see here. BG asks, "Is it a good idea to put a VAS rig on its own VLAN?" I would say yes. Um, Now, at least from my perspective, and everybody has their own way of doing this. I run this at a separate location away from my house where my mining was. Well, I'm still mining, but I'm obviously reduced. I'm down to 40 GPUs. I probably have like 70 left, but I'm trying to sell the other 30. Um, I have internet over there, right? And that internet line isn't attached to anything personal of mine, right? So I don't care if you hack me or do whatever because none of my shit's over there, right? None of my personal stuff is there. So I mean, I do have firewall rules in place, but I mean, if something catastrophic happens, it's not going to bother me, right? So I found that having a second line for like 75 bucks, 100 bucks to me is worth it because I don't have to worry about security, right? On that, it's even at a separate house, right? So it's like I just plug my laptop in real quick, do the little vast command, unplug it, I'm out, right? And that's it. So I found that to be the best secure. So I mean, another choice you guys could have, depending upon obviously your internet rates. I have cheap fiber with me, right? Like $7,500 fiber. So if you have the choice to get cheap fiber, a lot of them will allow you to have a second line. I would advise you just get a second line, put all your mining and AI stuff on that, and that way you don't ever have to worry about any kind of security problems whatsoever. That's pretty much what it is, Coat. I do have to port forward, but I mean, it's fine because, because I have to give all the ports for each different VAS, right? Because, this one's 40,199 and this one over here is 40,000 to 299. Um, but I just do that because it's easy. I don't have to worry about anything, right? I'm like, "Oh, man, is this a vulnerability? Man, dude, I don't wanna run this thing." Like, you gotta trust all these people and, like, nope, I don't have to worry about it. Doesn't bother me. That was my approach to it. So, oh, man, then we got look, we got the Hollywood movie star. We got, Iowa Crypto Money in here. What's going on, Mr. Iowa? Um, man, a lot of questions tonight, man. Boy, whew, lots of questions. Um, Luciano? I think I got that right. We'll see. Um, what about 3080s for you? Those are 10 gigs and yeah. Actually, I have some 3080s and I have verified 3080s and they're doing quite well. I like them. They are a little bit on the cheaper side though, just from a compute standpoint, but they do have the 10 gigs of VRAM. So, I mean, if you have 3080s, I would use those. Like, don't spend money on extra cards. That's pointless. Don't do that. If you got 3080s, use the 3080s. Oh, and then endless is asking me what's I I'm Chinese, man. Favorite food is Chinese food. Definitely Chinese, man. Pork fried rice and Mongolian beef are my favorite. Go down here. Geek of all trades. Yeah, it's like one giant DMZ over there. Yeah, pretty much. It's just like I just don't care. Makes it easy. Um, Shalva. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. How are you managing prices? I saw some people changing prices very often. I mean, I don't move my prices that much, honestly. I mean, my rigs stay rented most of the time, but I have kind of a different strategy, right? Where let's say I have an unverified 3090. I'm charging 10 cents for that, right? Charging 10. And it gets picked up really quick. And you're probably gonna get some weird like miner on there. I've been seeing a lot of these like Zen miners, is what they call them now. I don't know what it is. But I mean, if you're paying $4 a day to mine, that just doesn't seem very profitable to me. But yeah, I don't know anything. So but I do 10 cents, right? So that way I'm always rented on my 3090. And this way you're kind of building that reliability that you want to get, that reliability score. That way you're always rented. That way your machine's always looking great. Right? That's why I do it. Then eventually when I do get verified, as soon as I get verified, I change the price to 20 cents. Now you do have to wait for that person to leave. Like if there was a person on at 10 cents, you do have to wait for them to leave before the 20 cents gets like started. Like it's not going to instantly start charging the person 20 cents. You have to wait for that person to jump off your rig and then you could charge um, and then the 20 cents will be imposed. Um, Bart Sabrell says that's a hard pivot for most to make from mining to AI and costly. Lots of people going to get left behind. Well, I mean, sort of. Now, I'm kind of different than most people, right? I have lots of servers at home. I have lots of spare computer parts. Like over to my right here, it's just like an entire shelf of just like random hard drives and all kinds of like spare computer parts. It's literally just an entire mess over there. I have all kinds of fans and I got all kinds of shit over there. But for me, I'm always like building stuff. For me, I already had a lot of this stuff, right? The only thing I really had to incur as far as a cost is the workstations, right? I had to buy those. And then obviously I had to buy RAM for them. And storage right now is actually really cheap. So I mean, storage doesn't cost you a lot. You know what I mean? Side of SSD or NVMe, they're actually quite reasonable. Um, I would say just use the GPUs you have. Don't go out buy 4090s or nothing like that. If you got 3060s, 3080s, stuff like that, use those. Don't go out and spend a bunch of money. The great thing about VAST though is if you have cards and they're not doing anything, yeah, it's going to cost you a couple $100 to get this going. But from a I don't know. I know Max is going to totally disagree with me. This ROI, ROII, whatever you want to call it, right? When you get your money back for how much you put into the system, right, is much less right now for AI than it is for mining, right? You're talking you're making pennies a day. It'll take you years to get paid back. And in anticipation of a coin that may or may not 10x, right? It's a complete gamble. There is no for sure, like, hey, this thing's gonna do great. This thing's gonna 100x. I'm gonna make like $10,000. Don't know that. As soon as it hits the bull run, it could take a complete dump, rug pull, and then you make nothing. Versus, hey, I could spend a few $100 and I could get one GPU up and test this out and see if it works, and actually make some feasible money from it. Right? That's just kind of how I look at it. I would say it's less risky. Got a bunch of Chipotle talking here. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Crypto shape, Chinese and Starbucks. Yes. Um, what do you suggest people do that all into crypto mining? Well, it's going to depend on what type of motherboards you have. Do you have the BTC mining motherboards? Those are going to be useless. I'm sorry. All those 12 card, 12 GPU motherboards, yeah, they're garbage. I ain't gonna be able to use those. You could repurpose your GPUs. You don't have to buy cases, but cases do look nice. But you could just put the motherboard on a box. That way, you save $100 from a case, right? I'm saying you could find used RAM. You could all kinds of ways you could save money here to make it not cost so much. Uh, this guy was the best time to shampoo your beard. Oh man. Ask Max Voltage about my home lab data center and print farm. Yeah, Geek does have a very large print farm. I have just three Enders and one K1 Max over there, which I haven't really been printing on lately. I've been just too busy for that. And then Chia lays off cheap hard drives. Actually, storage, as far as like people buying storage like on Bass, it's like you make like nothing from storage. So you do not need big hard drives. You don't need anything bigger than 1 terabyte. I don't think it's needed at all. Actually, Mr. Crypto Shaped, I do have a solution, I think. I'm working on it to retrofit Octominer. So for all of you Octominer fans out there, Uh, ooh, I am working on something. We'll see how it pans out. But I'm working on somebody contacting and talking to the distributor because on this listing I found on AliExpress, it doesn't specifically state the PCIe lane configuration, and I don't want to spend the money until I know exactly what the configurations are. right? I don't want to spend like 250, $300 on a motherboard and find out that it doesn't have the proper PCIe lane configuration. Yes, Max. I'm sure the RevTech boards with the little AMD APU on it has plenty of lanes. Let's let's like give it a try, Max. Let's just see what a RevTech does on there. I'll be curious. I have 5 of them. I have a RevTech sitting over there in the bin. Here. Funny King. Here. Would you be willing to sell a single RTX 3070? I don't have any NVIDIA GPUs, but want at least one to play with. Yep. Go ahead. DM me. We'll work something out. Travelers Travel. I'll sell you one. And then Goat asks, King, what are your thoughts about how much you charge for bandwidth and per terabyte on VAS? To be honest, I just leave it the way that it comes. I leave it stock. And so far it works pretty good for me. I think it's like $3 on the bandwidth per terabyte, I think is what it charges. Like I can't remember what is like $1.50 down and like $3 up is I think the going rate if I'm not mistaken. Red Hawk asks, "What router do I use?" Okay, currently at my house right now, I'm still using Draytech because I'm just been a lazy bastard. At my other mining location, I do use Microtech, because it's just easy to use, man, and I already use it every day for Florida, so just me using the software more just makes me stay more fluid with using Microtik, right? So I use Microtik. Traytech's good too. I like them. Ubiquity, another good company to go with, right? Really reputable. Um, Kind of depends on how much you want to spend, and it depends on like how far you're trying to dive down this networking rabbit hole because hey, you could dive down really far and it can get really expensive really quick. So it kind of just depends on your goals and what you're trying to accomplish with your network. And BG says, "No, I'm not selling any of my 6600s. I have 6 of my Sapphires. I'm not selling any AMD cards. Those are all going to stay at, they're all mining still." Um Automation Dad says, "Have you tried mining while you wait for a vast machine to get rented? As soon as someone bids above your floor price, is rented. Otherwise, it starts mining again." No, I haven't. Um, to me, it just I don't know. I don't need to make pennies a day. Honestly, I just it, I'm gonna be honest. Like as far as like GPU mining goes, like I have a lot of flux. Right, that's like the majority of my GPU bag is like flux. I'm gonna say even actually Flux right now, I have as far as like a dollar value outweighs everything I have. So and then it's like then like Bitcoin and then like no no no. Then it's Doge, then Bitcoin, and then Litecoin, and then Caspa. So which mining GPU mining on Caspa is awful right now. And then um I'm really not into Dynex. I mined it for a while just to sell it, but I don't know. There's not a really good project that's like spiked interest in me. It's like, oh man, I love this project, dude. I want to go mine this thing. And I've been watching the hash rates too on a couple of projects that I do want to mine, but the hash rates are pretty high still, and the yields are awful. So I'm just holding off right now. I like to mine coins when their hash rate falls off because everyone's chasing the profits, and this way you can actually get more yield instead of actually getting like, like more income. Because I mean, it's pennies at this point, so I'd rather have the yield personally. Um, Scott A asks, "Have you seen any difference in renting with rigs with server CPU versus no?" Nope, mine are all rented, and they've been that way for a while. Like, the only one that jumps off is my 4070, but that one has a really crappy CPU in it. It was just a test, and I just don't wanna take it down because of the reliability is at, like, at 99 point, like 8%, so I don't want to really ruin it. But because if I change the CPU, I do have to do a new install because I am changing the machine. Um, no, I haven't really noticed a difference. Um, like as far as like being rented more and more often, I have not noticed a difference in that. And then S Shank says, if everything's on a separate line, you don't need anything for a fancy router. No, but the MikroTik I use isn't fancy. It's like $100. So I just use the MikroTik because I want full control of my network, and I can obviously tune it to however I want. I'm not using an ISP garbage all in one solution. I I won't do it. I hate it. It's awful. Uh, I don't know the answer to that question. Like Kaiser, I've been answering all kinds of questions, man. I'm sorry I missed your question. Um, I don't know the answer to that question. You would have to ask the people in Vast that question. I would now knowing like a lawyer, right? Like Vistang, he would say that ultimately that it would fall to Vast, right? Do I know that for certain? I don't know. So, good question to go ask the people in the Vast Discord. Okay, what about Sky Doge? All these meme coins. I can't do it anymore. King of Sky Doge. No, no Sky Doge. Oh man, look at this guy. Look at Max. Dude, you should be telling everybody to mine Radiant. Yeah, go mine Radiant, everybody. Go mine to the mining kings pool here. And then Crypto Shape asks, what is the bandwidth requirement on each rig or good average to allocate to each fast rig? Um, so Max and Hawk are on Doxus, so they have like Xfinity, so their upload is awful, like 30 or 40 up and like a gig down. And that seems to be sufficient enough. Now, speaking from experience, I do see the rigs downloading more than I do see them uploading, but that's not always the case. It's going to vary client to client. You know what I mean? I have 2 gig fiber over there. So, and then everything's just run on RJ45s. And then I have like just 10 gig networking through the switch and the router. So I just let everything just go full bore out there. Oh, they aren't meme coins, they're community coins. Oh, all right. I stand corrected. Hey, catch you later, Kaiser. Thanks for hanging out. Farmer Vincent asks, what can I do with 53060s? The 1660 Supers, actually, you can list on Vast. They do have older cards, but I don't know if you'll be rented. If the 3060s are 12 gigs, I would highly suggest that you build some computers and make some Vast rigs. I'm making about $2 a day off my 3060. So go tell me which community coin will make you $2 a day with the 3060. I would love to see it. Sorry about the sarcasm. Oh man. Mike Sherwood asked, do you think if a GPU marketplace opens up for AMD GPUs, our NVIDIA GPU profits would be crushed? I can't answer that question. I have no idea. Maybe, I assume so. More GPUs would be coming on, right? Um, yeah, maybe profits would go down. Question from the AI True King, DJ Mines here. Question: do you see the vast AI stuff going up in price during the bull run, or profits will stay the same? Um, I actually, I don't think it's going to relate to the bull run, DJ. I see that as people use AI more and more, and like these large language models and like stable diffusion and stuff like that, as this becomes normal everyday stuff and there becomes more and more demand for it, I see the prices going up, but not in correlation to like Bitcoin or the bull run. And as well as I see this as a steady, like not financial advice, I see this more as a steady income, right? Because obviously crypto mining, like profits right now are, dog shit. You know what I mean? Versus AI is still great. So I just think this is a better way to use your resources than to crypto mine. I'm not saying to not crypto mine at all. I'm mining my own pool, right? I just think like if you have a few hundred GPUs or even 100, I mean, most people would have 3060s or 3090s in their farms if they're that big. And you can make, let's say you made 10 Bass rigs and they all got verified on 3090s. That's $4.25 a day off each one. So that would be $42.50 off every 3090 rig that you would generate each day times 30 days. I mean, that's like Ethereum numbers right there. You know what I mean? I mean, this is what everybody wants. You guys all like, hey, where's the Ethereum mining? And I shouldn't even be saying this right now because you're going to saturate my market. I should be telling you to go mine, Sky Doge or whatever, But let's go ahead and let's take a look at go ahead and take a look at the TensorDoc stuff here. Take a quick peek at this stuff. I said I was going to do this earlier and I never did. I think this is it. Oh, yep, here we go. All right. So you can see here, your host is online and listed. Ta-da! So on TensorDoc, you actually start at 100% and work your way down the percentage, right? So interesting. These guys are much more strict than Vast is, period. And I'll go over that in a few minutes here. But we can monitor a node here. Like if you click this link here, it'll bring you to this window here, which is actually kind of nice because they don't actually have this in Vast. So you can see like, oh, you've been online for this many hours. You can see your CPU usage here. You can see the RAM usage. Oh man. Look, we're at what 0.03%. We're not even at 1% of CPU usage. We're at 1% of RAM. Nothing really on the network. Storage. Now, do keep this in mind though. With the storage with TensorDoc, they actually load like when you go to Vast and you see all these like templates you can deploy right on Vast. These guys actually physically load all of the templates onto the rig. So I had to like download like 6 templates and it was like was it like 200 gigs or something like that? Like 180, right? 'Cause it's using like 18%. And this is a terabyte drive. So yeah, like 180 gigs I had to download. So this is much easier to use. Like it's literally 3 commands to get TensorDoc to run. But there is like you do have to be a little bit more professional with this one compared to Vast. So but it has all the recent stats. You know what I mean? It's pinging from these other locations. I'm assuming these are like their main server hubs here. You know what I mean? Because they have one in San Francisco, one in Dallas, New York, and Amsterdam. Now, to go over some of their fact sheets here, um, to see how to actually do TensorDoc, like if you want to be a host, you click apply to be a host. So these are their requirements. And this isn't like I have 3080s. I have dual 3080s in there. So that I don't think this is a strict requirement. Because I do see 3060 Ti's and 3060s on there. So that I don't think that's necessarily true. But these are their penalties. And this is something to keep in mind. This is why I'm testing them. 99.99% uptime is a 5% penalty. That's one reboot of the machine. So if they crash it or something happens and the machine has to reboot, you take a 5% penalty loss because you get a 99% uptime rating. You go down to 99.9, which is like a short power outage or something like that. Maybe it's 2 reboots. You go down to 99.9 without the second 9. That's 20% revenue penalty. You go down to 99%, that's a 40% penalty, and anything lower behind below 99%, you're banned. So this is much more these guys are giving much more of a quality product, you know what I mean, to their clients, right? They want that 99.9% uptime or higher, right? They want perfection. So if you're thinking about TensorDoc, it is much easier to install. It's like 3 commands, and then you have to fill out another application. Like this is the initial application here to get on with TensorDoc, where you say where you're from, blah blah blah. You know what's your internet rate and your how many power outages you ever had, how many CPUs, GPUs are going to be bringing on, and all of that stuff. And then you have to fill out another form, which is let me go over here. It's in one of my emails from the TensorDoc guy. You'll get an account manager who will coordinate with you, and then he will, and then you'll be communicating with him on a regular basis. Uh, so, and then this is going to be the next form, new host machine, and you're going to give them what username you use, the password, IP, SSH port, your port range you opened up for them. Any additional ports, like you don't have to give them these ports. These are just additional ones you can do on your end if you want to. Maybe it'll make your rig more appealing to people if you open up these ports. And that's pretty much it. And then after you submit that and you've done the installation with the rig, then you just wait. And it took about a day to actually get mine to actually go on. So yeah, it was about 24 hours I had to wait. So I think you're wrong, Mr. Depran, or sorry, Iowa Crypto Mining says the bull will affect AI rent to profitability. I mean, are you thinking because more people are going to be GPU mining, so there'll be less GPUs to rent? Mm. I don't think GPU mining is going to be as profitable as was with Ethereum. Not this bull run. Maybe next one. Maybe I'm wrong. All right. Yes. Hey, how you doing, Ozzy? No, I need to watch. It's been like 2 weeks since Second Seal made a video. Man, he is one of my favorite guys. I do like to talk AI too. So no, I need to go watch that video. In fact, somebody needs to make those hats, right? Like the Donald Trump hats, but like for like the Ethereum miners, right? Like make ETH great again. Yeah, I love it, Crypto Shape. Love it, man. Love it. I do think that Mr. Hot Crypto Mining and I think DJ are supposed to be going live, or maybe they already went live. I wasn't trying to rain on their parade here. I don't know. Are they live yet? Trying to trying to see here real quick if DJ or I don't see a notification yet. Well, other than that, I mean, hopefully I answered a lot of you guys' questions. Like I said, there was one. If you guys want the Vast AI guide, just become a member, and I'll be sure to update the guide so you guys get access to that. Bacon, eggs, and hash say I will probably build a few Vast rigs, but the barrier to entries is too high for me. Yeah, understandable, man. Not for everybody. S Chang, I have not watched that live stream yet. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't watched anything today yet. I just got home, so I have been checked out of the world today. So I need to go watch some people's stuff. Maybe when I eat my dinner here, I'll go watch some YouTube. Is there any is it Shalva? Yeah, I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. Is there any way to decrease the power limit? So here's the problem with that. If you do too much tuning down the card, one, it's going to make it unstable, and then two, they're not going to get the full compute of the actual GPU, and technically that can get you what's called de-verified because you are marketing a 3090. Let's say the 3090 isn't actually functioning at like the compute power of a 3090, right? Because you're power limiting it, or maybe you tune down the core, or whatever it is. If for any reason it crashes, or they suspect that it's not functioning at that level, they could actually file a ticket with VAST. VAST will confirm it, and if they find that out, you will get de-verified, which is a very like red tag listing on your rig that you're doing stuff you're not supposed to. You do not need to detune the cards. You just everybody quit thinking like miners and start thinking like data centers. Stop thinking about mining and tuning down the cards. Trust me, you make plenty of money just leaving them stock. You do not need to tune these things. Hey, welcome, Mr. Brandon Black. Welcome to being a new member to the Kingsman. Be sure to either email me or DM me in Discord if you want access to the Vast AI rig guide. And then this Sunday, all of the Kingsmen will be meeting again for a private Kingsman stream. I'm going to try to get back onto that schedule. Well, all right, boys and girls, it's been great. It's been fun. I'm gonna get off and I'm gonna go let DJ and Hawk go live. I I use StreamYard, so I don't know how to raid. So Hawk, DJ, don't yell at me. I don't know how to use the raid tool. I'm a YouTube noob. So um guys, be sure to go check out Hawk and DJ. I think they're going live either now or sometime soon. So be sure to go check out their channels. I know that they're supposed to be streaming tonight. All right. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.